welcome back to the channel, friends and friends-to-be. How are you doing? I hope you are all doing swell. If not, no worries, because I got your back. After watching this video, I can guarantee the mood will be a little bit lighter, or duller, depending on how you look at it. In this video, we are going to be hearing about 10 of the stupidest ways men have died. From a man who should have chosen a stronger internet provider, to a couple of guys who went a little too far in order to show how courageous they were. Alrighty boys, line up! Locked in his bedroom by Mom, a French man decided to leave his home using his Ethernet cable. At 1:03 p.m., a 47-year-old man attempted to leave his room by climbing down the Ethernet cable. He chose this router because his concerned mother had locked him in his room to prevent him from buying any more booze that night. Being heavier than a few gigabytes, his weight was too much for the cable, and he crashed to the street from the 9th-story apartment. Doctors couldn't crack the code to bring him back from the dark web. And some people are even saying he is now the fastest reader in all of France. 9 stories in 2.1 seconds. Okay, here's the setting. 3 male humans, 3 male elephants, and a dream for the perfect wildlife selfie. In the town of Plumtree in southwestern Zimbabwe, one of the men spotted the 3 elephants. Shrubbery! This will not do, he thought. So he and his friends all began driving these elephants into a clearing. The elephants cooperated in a fashion. A large bull elephant and 2 younger males came charging out of the shrubbery and headed for the provoking men. It was time to test the old saying, I don't have to outrun that elephant, I just have to outrun you. All 3 men took off running, each frantic to save his own hide. The first friend, the one who originally spotted the elephants, he was the first to fall behind. He was the one who got trampled while his 2 friends got away. The whole thing was pointless. As a consolation for everybody's wasted time, I thought we could use this as a warning for others. Hashtag elephants want privacy. Hashtag just kidding. Hashtag LOL. Hashtag stop me now. Hashtag help! A welder is in the evolutionary spotlight next. Vargas was a welder for the Highway Maintenance Department. One day he noticed how well a fire extinguisher fits into a decommissioned artillery howitzer. Now this he had to try. Being a welder, he knew the exact things he needed to mix together to get that right amount of oomph for his fire extinguisher to really take off. All was a go, and Vargas covered his ears. Things were about to get loud and messy, because when the abused fire extinguisher exploded from the cannon, pieces of it became one with Vargas's brain, and his brain became one with his surroundings. We are constantly told not to drink and drive. But what about drinking and flying? No, it doesn't work either. Unless you're a passenger, and even then, you have your limits. Back in 1996, 2 Canadian men were having the weekend of their lives, filled with drinks and other fun things you do in Canada. The real fun was going to be their grand finale, because for it, they were going to steal an airplane, and they did steal it. But they didn't get far before they hit a snag. A little something I like to call a power line. And just like zap, their joyride was over. A light bulb needed fixed at a logistics center. Now logically, this should be an easy problem with an easy solution. Especially considering the kind of people that work there. Our friend thought for a minute. The forklift could only raise him 2.5 meters, and that was clearly not close enough. But there were some pallets next to it. This could work. Okay, time out real quick. Let's express this dilemma as a math word problem.
If the man can reach a light fixture 2 meters over his head, then how many wood pallets, each being 15 centimeters thick, must he stack on the forklift in order to replace a light bulb 10 meters up? If you guess correctly in the comments, you win. Ready for the answer? The answer is 37 pallets. Our friend crawled on top of the pallets, convinced a friend to lift him up, and then,
as we all could have guessed, the rickety stack collapsed, and our friend died in the wreckage. He ended up reaching a higher plane than he intended for. I've heard of some crazy ways that people have played this game, but this one might just take the cake. Or should I say, bite the bullet.
Back in 2000, a young man in Texas tried to play an even more dangerous version of Russian roulette. Instead of putting one bullet in a revolver, in turn giving him a 1 in 6 chance of failing, he put one in a semi-automatic pistol. You know, where the bullets are instantly moved into the gun's chamber? This raised his odds. Here, let me do some quick math. Just what I thought. It raised his odds to exactly 100%. For some reason, he accepted these odds and let the games begin. He was very confident too. I honestly have no idea why.
And faster than lightning, or around the same speed as a bullet, their game was over. Wait, quick, please, hold on 1 second. I just have to show you this. It's really cool. Do you see it? That's right, we have new designs up. Just go to trooptt.com and you can get your very own sweatshirt. You can get your very own leggings, your very own mug, your very own t-shirt, canvas, tote, so many things. Head on over to trooptt.com to get yours now, and if you get it soon, it'll be here in time for Christmas. Okay, enough of this, back to the video. Now, I've heard of some pretty up and down bungee cord stories. This one? Just ridiculous.
And it also proves that duct tape doesn't always fix everything. This man wanted to bungee jump by himself. He measured the distance. He went the speed. He was all alone in his time of need. He couldn't find a rope long enough for the entire distance, but he found 2 that would add up perfectly to the length he needed. That was his first error. When he jumped off, the rope would stretch, making it longer, which ends up equaling to a smack into the ground. His second error was how he attached the ropes, with duct tape.
It may fix everything, but we now all know it won't fix 2 ropes together. I love fireworks. The closer, the better. From a safe distance, of course.
Of course.
One man loved them so much, but he didn't have the money to go and buy some. Instead of buying pre-made fireworks, he used all the money he had and bought a grenade. With a little handiwork, he could easily turn this into a firework, and it would probably be the best looking firework around. He brought the grenade home, took it into his shop, and grabbed his chainsaw. Yep, for some unknown reason, he decided to use a chainsaw, of all things, to crack open a grenade and get that sweet, sweet gunpowder inside.
Sparks were flying through the air shortly before pieces of our friend were, well, you get the idea. Kay was a special kind of stupid. It belonged to a special kind of group that likes to cause terror in people. What's that group called again?
In the year 2000, Kay had just put the finishing touches on his letter bomb. Now, to mail it. He put a few stamps on it and it was on its way, ready to cause terror. A few days go by and Kay gets a letter in the mail. Turns out he's not the brightest of sparks. Yet. The envelope said return to sender because there wasn't enough stamps on it. Kay must have missed this because he was so excited he had finally gotten some of his very own mail.
He ripped it open and his career ended there. It had really gone off with a bang, and he had finally become one of the big bright sparks. In a new attempt of, here, hold my beer, we find ourselves in a train station in the Netherlands.
Two intoxicated men dare each other to test their courage against an intercity train. At 6 p.m. that Sunday, the station was crowded with more than 300 fans returning from a soccer match. The two men stepped off the platform and strode forth onto the tracks. One super daredevil laid down between the tracks, intending to prove that the entire train would pass over him. What a story to tell! His friend, a little less confident, and he merely knelt down next to the track and kept his head as close as possible to where he thought the train's profile would be. The train came barreling down the tracks at 130 kilometers per hour.
As it turns out, the train was both lower and wider than either of them had predicted. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Before we go, I wanted to tell you about a Kickstarter that I would like to promote on this channel. My husband is writing a book talking all about children's behavior and how they can better regulate it and handle it and control it. If you would like to find out more about this book, I will leave a link down below in the description and in the comments. And here's the thing, if every single one of you guys donates just $1, we will surpass our goal. It's a huge passion project for both me and my husband, so I just really would love your guys' support. If you can't help out, no big deal. Just keep on watching the videos, keep on smashing that like button, and as always, stay safe out there. Good TT.